the longest reigning and the most respected monarch, has peacefully passed away at a very good age. During this historic time, apart from dedication and devotion she had, I would like to talk about her role in political and geopolitical world structure and the impact she had on every person's lives. We will also try to see what happens next, starting off now, when United Kingdom has a new king. We all know that Elizabeth lost her husband about a year ago. Similarly as Her Majesty, Philip was quite a popular figure due to his involvement in environmental concerns. He was promoting technological progress and generally was around. But also his stately appearance, tall, blonde, Greek guy, navy figure, made a perfect match to a monarch. So everybody would say, what a nice couple they are, or what a nice couple they were on the outside. But what we see on the inside is a strong, young military fellow in the shadow of his wife. Quite a sacrifice for a lifetime commitment. And quite an uncomfortable situation for a man in the middle of the 20th century. And this feeling of uselessness and powerless that can't be accepted by some men, especially in the young age when everything seems so exaggerated, led to ups and downs in their relationship. The moment when Elizabeth had to close her eyes on unfaithful behavior of her husband, which probably she suffered pretty badly. But it was never a question of breaking the oath of marriage they give to the god, especially when the monarch is a representative of all the church. And no matter what, they would overcome the difficulties of their uneasy union. Yet the rest of her family, influenced by change of attitude and sexual revolution, accepted divorces as a remedy for their personal issue. The fact that actually shook the status of the monarchy when people started to question, do we really need them? By the way, the Queen herself took a great advantage of a television when they started to transmit sacred ceremonies and sort of approached themselves to people. It was a smart way to separate apples from bananas when the Queen still remains the Queen, but a slight use of techno in the favor of the monarch won't hurt anyone. It was a great success on one hand, but there appeared lots of competition, followed by a freedom explosion where people started to change their habits. They would substitute church by going to the concert, they would release their stress by drinking and smoking instead of praying. The behavior standards have changed, and I should say that every aspect of each person's life has changed since 1953 when she took the throne, or 52. Everything but the Queen. Elizabeth will still be there, ruling by example set by her father. Generally, her style would be characterized as uninvolvement, stability, tradition, and devotion, come rain or shine. These are the qualities that most of us simple people apply in our daily basis. Doctors who work night shifts, mothers who leave their careers to take care of their children, different social workers who do their job rather by devotion nor for money. And most of us normal and adequate people, we would complete the job of the Queen with the same dedication and with the same devotion. When we mention stability the Queen was reigning with, let's acknowledge stability is comfortable and tradition is stressless. And in spite of the fact that stability and security usually leads to motivation loss or laziness, instead of diving into the deep trap of comfortable life, Elizabeth still worked hard with the same rhythm and with the same amazing ability to combine tradition and innovation. One of the few examples when comfort zone is good if administrated properly. It gives us a sense of schedule, reduces stress, and actually helps to live a long life. Both Her Majesty and her husband were living comfortable lives in the nature, away from CO2, eating healthy, resting, everything that a modern person lacks and everything that we are striving to do. However, normal people can't rely too much on the stability in their personal lives in this constantly changing environment. That is why in my channel I emphasize to leave your comfort zone and to be as flexible as changing, because we can't afford the same stability as a royal family. Now that it's time to mention the Queen role in everybody's person's life and in world geopolitical structure, let's take a look on England as a country. During all of its history, United Kingdom has been a conqueror state. There have been pirates and attackers during all of their history. Geographical position of a big island just in front of Europe provided them huge advantage in trade and allowed them to be pioneers in industrial revolution. Peasants and later on working class contributed a lot for the country to be able to afford building ships for their conquest journeys. One of the latest was the colonization of Malvinas Argentinas. That was a historic moment when Margaret Thatcher ordered to sink the ships with Argentinian protectors and proclaimed Malvinas a British territory. What is the role of monarchy in it? On one hand, an institution benefit from economic prosperity of United Kingdom, who can afford its existence, unlike the existence of other noble families that simply couldn't afford the high cost of their standards and perished in the 20th century. On the other hand, the monarch can always say, "Sorry, I can't get involved. I'm just a figure." Along with House of Lords and House of Commons, Labour Party, Tory, all fighting with each other, there is always a nice, kind grandmother who equally treats all of them. Something we don't see in our everyday life, when we always take one side, where we all have opinions. It's a fairy tale character who doesn't take any side. And I think in a globalized society we live now, with lots of ethnical groups existing with each other, it is fantastic to have someone like this who will go out there and just say comfortable words and will remind that everything is going to be okay. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it something we all need once in a while? That's why royal family adopted usage of media to keep their status up high. Actually, it was favorable for both ways. On one hand, scrutiny allowed people to see their queen in special occasions. The monarchy institution could create a proper image and sort of style that the queen could follow during all these years. They started with the transmission of coronation. Then, when Beatles appeared, they made a movie Royal Family, and then the Diana's story, and now we have tweets, posts. Netflix made a fantastic movie called Crown. They chose amazing actors, beautiful scenery, interior design. They made a proper high quality script. If we talk money, the budget of The Crown was 7 times higher than Downton Abbey. Coincidentally, the movie was released just during Sussex quarrel separation issue, a fact that again threw a bad light on monarchy, jeopardizing their existence once again. And we see a proper publicity made to keep a royal image, tea with Paddington Bear, to make people love their icons. And I also find it amazing how British people easily get in love with public figures. After a coronation transmission, it all started with Beatles, lots of music bands that UK gave the world thanks to Melancholic Weather that was promoting writing of songs. Picture of a young princess that pop up and took the hearts of all the people who wanted a fairy tale and who believed in eternal love. But Charles was not as dedicated to his marriage vows as his mother, and he was unfaithful to his wife. That leads to divorce and everything else that followed. When Diana dies, and I remember that was an August day and I was 14 years old, I remember the time like now. But the level of grief was way higher. It was so unfair for the people, for a young person to die in such a young age, such a lovely person, leaving her 2 teenage boys behind. Suddenly, this image disappeared, and the people didn't have anybody else to adore with the same power. And coincidentally, the next year we have a marriage of Beckhams. Eternal love that has been lasting for decades. By the way, the love to fairy tale is in the blood of British people. And as for me personally, and one of my university degrees is in English language and English history, I remember reading all these fantastic stories of British authors, Oscar Wilde, Doyle, Dickens, who fantastically described England. And when I went to London for the first time, and then I traveled around England and visited Northern Ireland, it was just as I imagined from the books. To my personal opinion, I think we need monarchy. And when I say we, I mean the whole humanity. Because you see, now all the world is feeling loss, the same like we were grieving when the prince died, the same like we're happy during the weddings and we're welcoming the newborns. But unlike other celebrities and other rich people, royal family transmits us some values that brought us to where we are now. The human being developed amazing technologies. We studied the moon, we went to space, we reached remarkable results in medicine, we saved children's lives, and all that would not be reachable without devotion, dedication, resilience, and persistence. All of the qualities that have been transmitted to us during these 70 years. I hope that the new king will follow the same path. We can stop global warming, we can save our planet if we maintain the same values, if we maintain the same qualities Queen Elizabeth had. So it's going to be interesting what happens next. We all see Charles quite for a while. He was quite strong in his environmental concerns, same as his father, but we've seen some weakness he's been shown with. Yes, it was sort of justification to cover his unfaithfulness, but there should be other ways to do so. And it was not so good to show the future king with such weak qualities. Also, I don't mean to be mean, but it's sort of a good timing. Geopolitical, economical powers are shifting. Along with that, we see a shift of symbolic power, where the queen has passed and now the new king is taking over. Well, let's see what happens next, now that we have Charles and Camilla on the stage. We'll see you next time. Bye!